Mosab Abu Toha, who's a Palestinian poet, short story writer, and essayist from Gaza. Abu Toha is also the founder of the Edward Said Library in Gaza, which was just destroyed by Israel, as we get into. And he recently won an Overseas Press Club award for his Letter from Gaza columns for The New Yorker. His new poetry book is Forest of Noise. Mosab Abu Toha, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Katie and Aaron.
So wanted to start off by asking you your thoughts on the ceasefire agreement, and is this really a ceasefire?
Well, they call it a ceasefire, but the fire hasn't ceased, at least in Palestine, in the West Bank. Just yesterday, 10 people were killed. And so many others were killed even after the ceasefire came into force in Gaza about 12 days ago. And the ceasefire is not everything, because so many people are still missing. The Palestinian Civil Defense Forces are still unearthing mass graves. So there is no talk about ceasefire when we are still uncovering the dead bodies of so many people who we assumed were still alive. And I can't think of calling this a real ceasefire if people are still living in the open. And I mean, no tents have entered Gaza, no makeshift, housing units have been entered into Gaza. People are unable to leave, unable to return to Gaza. The critically wounded people have been unable to leave Gaza. So, I mean, not opening fire at someone, it doesn't mean that they have stopped bleeding, or that they are not being wounded by other things around them that the occupation has left behind.
You posted a pretty devastating poem, which I'd love it if you could read it. And then I want to ask you what the return of the refugees means, and if you're hopeful about the future.
Gaza has become a funeral home, but there are no seats, no mourners, no bodies. And the caskets are nothing but what remained of the dead's clothes. And on the crumbling walls are clocks that have not moved for 14 months. As you can tell from the poem, this poem was written 2 months ago. And it's about Gaza. I have lost 31 members of my father's cousin's family. I mean, my father's cousin was killed with his wife, with his children, and with his grandchildren. And one of the murdered people was a first cousin of mine, and I wasn't able to see her body or to bid her farewell, her husband, her children. So it's a big Gaza. All of Gaza has become a funeral home. But there are no mourners, because the mourners themselves are killed. So who is going to mourn the death of someone when the father, the mother, the sibling of that person were killed? And even if neighbors were coming to mourn and to offer their condolences to someone, they could be killed in the street, as it happened to so many people. And sometimes we do the funeral on the phone. We call someone and say, "I'm so sorry to hear about your loss." And then a few minutes later, that person, the caller or the recipient of this condolences, would be killed. So the whole of Gaza has become like a home where everyone is saying or bidding farewell to someone when this person who is offering the farewell knows that he could be killed, he could be next. The poem also talks about so many people who, after they were killed, they were left in the street or under the rubble of their houses, and the family, when they return, if they were able to, would find only a few bones. You go to social media and see, I hate to say that when the numbers of the people who are killed are reported, they say according to Gaza Ministry of Health or Hamas. It's not Hamas, it's not Gaza, it's not even Gaza's Ministry of Health who is telling us the numbers. It's me. I tell you that I lost 31 members of my family. My neighbor tells me that he lost his uncle and his wife and their children. So it's not Hamas. I don't care about Hamas. I don't care about Gaza's Ministry of Health. It's me who is killed, and I'm telling you this. So this poem tells you that the people who not only were killed, but we were able to bury a bone or two or a skull, and even without us being able to identify who that boy or who that girl or who that father was. I mean, that poem was written 2 months ago, and we are still watching videos and seeing pictures of people who were just found in areas that no one could approach in Gaza.
Mosab, talk to us about the Edward Said Library that you established in Gaza. What happened to it?
For so long, Israel has been attacking every place in Gaza, universities. We know that Israel destroyed all universities in Gaza, many schools, including the schools where I taught, where my children went before October 7th. Israel destroyed so many cultural centers. And the Edward Said Public Library, I mean, I'm not surprised that it was destroyed, because it's not the only thing that was destroyed. So many lives have been destroyed. So many buildings have been destroyed. So many hospitals have been destroyed. But I mean, the special thing about the Edward Said Public Library that I founded with the help of so many friends, especially in the West, just imagine, in the West. So we get support from beautiful people in the West, but at the same time, we are getting bombs from people in the West. So I was able to establish a public library, especially an English language library, where we had on the shelves every book that you can think of: novels, history books, poetry collections, sometimes poems that were signed by authors who are living in the US or in Europe. So I really struggled to build this library, and this library, thankfully, became two branches, one in Beit Lahia in North Gaza, where I lived for the past 20 so years, and then in Gaza City. The hard thing about building something in Gaza, not to say a library, is that Israel has been imposing draconian siege on the Gaza Strip, where you can't get a gift from a friend from outside of Gaza. If you are getting some kind of a gift from a friend, it will go through Israel, and Israel will decide whether this package will enter Gaza or not. So when I was collecting the books, when I was building the library, each box of books that entered Gaza for the library or for myself took about 8 weeks to make the journey into the bookshelves at the Edward Said Public Library. So just imagine the 2,000 or 4,000 books that I collected over the past 7 years. Just imagine how long it took. Now we can start to imagine how long it would take to build houses, to build universities, to build schools, to build a library, and how long it will take to put and receive books from outside of Gaza, and how long it will take, people to start thinking about visiting a library, especially their children, many of whom have been amputated, many of whom have lost their parents or their siblings. So Israel destroyed so much, and this is why I think that this is more than a genocide, because this is an irrecoverable destruction.
And so, from friends of yours, loved ones that are returning now to what's left of their homes, what are you hearing from them?
Oh, just yesterday I was able to talk to my youngest sister, mother of a girl who was 3 months old on October 7th. To be honest, I asked her how. Now she's living in a tent in Beit Lahia, and she shocked me when she said, "I wish I died. I prefer to have died to live in a tent now, even after a ceasefire." And this is my sister. She said, "I wished I died. I was killed in an airstrike or something." Not because people in Gaza want to die, but because the circumstances that they are living through, these circumstances are killing people silently and slowly. This is one thing. Today, I was in touch with a friend of mine who teaches Arabic. He's from North Gaza, and he's a father of 2 children. And he wrote to me today, just a few minutes before this call. He said, "I went to North Gaza for 2 days. Now I'm back in the south." He's now back in his tent where he used to live for the past 16 months. Why? Because there's nothing in North Gaza. Not only that there are no houses in North Gaza, but there is no water. It's even impossible for him to move his tent from South Gaza to North Gaza. Why? Not only because there are no transportation, there is no transportation like cars, because Israel is limiting the amount of fuel that is coming to Gaza. Israel is searching everything. It's very, very slow. And he has 2 children to take care of. So not only that, but because there is no place for him to place the tent on. He used to live on, I think, maybe the 4th or 5th floor of a residential building. And the whole area is a pile of rubble. So where do you place your tent? So people are returning to South Gaza. They were very happy, and I saw the pictures and videos. People were very happy to run once the ceasefire was announced. People were running. I mean, you know how long it takes you to walk from South to North Gaza? 5 hours. He walked for 5 hours from South to Southern to North Gaza, and today he took the trip back to North Gaza. And he didn't take his wife and children with him, because when he returned to North Gaza, he wanted to just see how things are, whether he could, bring his wife and children to live in Beit Lahia. But he decided to go back. But going back for what and for how long? No one knows. This is why it's not a ceasefire.
And by the way, my deepest condolences to you and your family and friends. And what your sister said is haunting. I was wondering how you and the people you're in touch with see the election of Donald Trump, because a lot of people are looking at the images of what's happening in Gaza and saying stuff like, I hope you guys are happy for, sabotaging Kamala Harris's campaign, in reference to people who couldn't bring themselves to vote for Kamala Harris, who either stayed home or voted third party. Now, a lot of these people who are speaking out now weren't speaking out about Gaza before Trump's election. But what are your thoughts on this?
I'm not American. I didn't live in America for long, and I think this is an American issue. But at the same time, it is a global issue, because whoever comes to power in America would decide the fate of so many people who live thousands of miles away from America. So I think the reason Trump won the election was not only because of Gaza. Now I think many people blame, Gaza to be the main reason. I don't think it's the main reason, but it's one of the big reasons why people saw that Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party must not win. But it doesn't mean that Trump's winning would serve Gaza or Palestine or even the whole world any better. Now with Trump's executive orders, people feel like they are regretting not having Kamala Harris in place, So now you have someone who is doing something bad, and then you blame them for the bad things that are happening in your country. Then someone who is worse than that bad person comes, and you are expected to say that, we wish that bad person stayed. So now we come to say, the Biden administration was better than Donald Trump. So for me, none of them serves the interest of anyone in Palestine, not in the world. I think that the Democratic Party is letting the genocide in Gaza continue, and fueling it by sending more and more weapons and vetoing so many times a ceasefire resolution. And also repeating, this is one thing, repeating the lies that Israel has been spreading about raping, about beheading babies, burning babies, about Hamas being, everyone in Gaza being Hamas. No, not everyone in Gaza is Hamas. Not before October 7th and not after October 7th. The Palestinian people are diverse people. You have people who hate Hamas. You have people who love Hamas. Like you have people who love Trump here who hate Trump, So we are a people. We differ on so many topics. So I think now people who voted for Trump, especially maybe some Arabs, some Muslims who voted for Trump, now realize how catastrophic that was, because he is now issuing many orders that are affecting everyone, not only Muslims and Arabs, but everyone. The freedom of speech. Students who protested the genocide in Gaza are named jihadis, are named pro-Hamas. So this is a very dangerous episode in the not only in America, but in the whole world. One last thing I wanted to say was that the people Trump appointed. I mean, one last thing I wanted to say is that the people that Trump appointed are extremely pro-Israel. His ambassador to the UN, of course, his ambassador to Israel, his Secretary of Defense, his Secretary of State. I mean, every one of them has Israel as a priority. So how do we see peace forward when we see that this administration has appointed people who are blindly pro-Israel? When just a few weeks ago, the ICJ issued arrest warrants to Netanyahu and his defense minister. And they issued also arrest warrants to 3 of Hamas leaders, Mohammed al-Deif, Haniya, and Sinwar. And the 3 of these people were killed. Israel killed them, So Israel took its revenge against these people, who the ICJ issued arrest warrant. But now these 2 other people, Netanyahu and Gallant, are not condemned by the American administration, and this is a very bleak moment in history, I think.
Mosab Abu Toha, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you.